Morning all. Topic for today, speed, distance and time. So as usual, get the headings down, keywords down, date down. So click pause when you've got your notes down. Click play again, we move on. Okay, starter for you. So click pause, attempt all questions. When you're ready to go again, click play and we'll go through the solutions. Okay, so we'll go through the solutions now. What fraction is equivalent to the first part of the ratio of 1 to 4? So the total number of parts is 5, so it's out of 5. 1 plus 4 is 5, so the first part is going to give you 1 out of 5. Write in ascending order, 54%, 3 over 6, and 0.51. So if we need to make them the same. We can't compare unless they're the same, so we're going to make all three the same. I'm going to make them all decimals, make it easier. So 54% as a decimal, should have 0.54. 3 out of 6 or a half, 0.5. I'll put a 0 there to make it comparable, and we've got 0.51 here. So in ascending order, that means smallest to biggest. We've got 3 out of 6 first, and then 0.51, and then finally we got 54%. Make that a percent there. Good. Divide 32 in the ratio of 1 to 7. So when we're sharing in a ratio, remember the 3 steps: add, divide, and then multiply. So we add the ratios. 1 plus 7 equals 8. Then we divide. So it's 32 pounds we're going to share, so we divide 32 by the total number of shares, which is 8, and it gives you the amount of 4 pounds. So 4 pounds is 1 share, so 1 share is 4, and then we multiply. So we got 1 share and 7 shares. 1 share, so 1 times 4 is 4 pounds, and then 7 shares be 7 times 4, which is 28 pounds. And you can check by adding the two of them. They give you 32 pounds, which is what we started with, so we know it's correct. Find the mode and the median. So we need to know our definitions. Mode, most common, yep, correct, 3. Median is the middle number, so if we cancel from the outside in, it's 1, 2, and then we're left with 2 in the middle. So 4 and 8, to find the middle of 4 and 8, we add them and divide by 2. So we find the average of the two. It's 12 over 2, which is 6. So our median is 6. Simplify 4a plus 5b minus 2a minus 3b. So we collect like terms first. So we've got 4a minus 2a plus 5b minus 3b. And so 4a minus 2a is 2a. And then 5b minus 3b is 2b. And the final one we've got, can you test the hypothesis that more cars on the road are silver than any other color? To test the hypothesis, what would you do? Conduct an experiment. So you could sit down outside the school gates and count cars. Only trouble you're going to have is that experiment is going to be valid just for the area that you're counting the cars in. Good. Moving on. One more question in the starter. So what I want you to do is click pause. When you're ready to go through it, click play again. Okay, I'm good. The graph represents, which graph represents this path being filled? So we've got A, B, C and D. When we turn the tap on, we're going to have a constant flow of water flowing into the bath, and when we look at it, it's going to fill up at the same rate. I've actually just noticed the little bends in the corners, which makes it slightly smaller, but we're going to ignore that and assume it's the same rate all the way. So we're going to look at C as our solution, because it starts from 0 and then it's going to fill up at the same rate. Okay, so C is our solution. And speed. So we've got three formulas. Speed is equal to distance over time. It's our most important one. S equals d over t. Distance is equal to speed times time, and time is equal to distance over speed. Now, we know the speed is equal to distance over time. We can use our units, because speed is measured usually in miles per hour or kilometers per hour. So if you're measuring it in, say, miles per hour, that's distance, miles, over hours time. So that's where it comes from. Speed is equal to distance over time. And we can rearrange that then to give us the other two formula. So to find time, we swap it with S. So that implies then that time is equal to distance over speed, and to find distance, we bring time up next to speed, so distance is equal to speed times time. So as long as we know this formula, we can work out the other two. And remember, we used our units, miles per hour, to help us. Let's try a couple of questions then. Definition of speed: compound measure, because we've got more than one measure. We've got distance and another measure, time, so it makes it compound. Speed, distance over time. Time is distance over speed, and distance is speed times time. Okay. And as we said earlier, we can use miles per hour to help us remember our definition of speed, and then we can rearrange. So, what I want you to do is to make some notes. Let's go back a little bit. There we go. So I want you to make some notes on that, on speed, and write the three formula down. So click pause when you're ready, click play again, and we'll move through to the example. Okay. First example, car travels at 126 miles, travels 126 miles in 3 hours, find the average speed. You know the formula, we've got all three of them there. To find speed, speed equals distance over time. And we just now input then our details. So the distance traveled is 126, divided by 3 hours. 3 goes into 12 4 times, and 3 goes into 6 2 times. Miles per hour. So you can make some notes on this, so click pause and get this example down in your book. Second example, car travels 40 miles in half an hour, finds its average speed. So speed is measured in miles per hour. So if we write that down, S equals distance over time. Now that means then we got our distance of 40, and time is not a full hour, but it's part of an hour, half an hour, so we can divide by a half. Now there are two ways of doing this. You could do 40 divided by half, or 0.5. You can also use the half and flip it. Remember, when we're dividing by fractions, we can do 40 times 2 over 1. So we flip the second fraction, the denominator, and that gives us 80 divided by 1, which is just 80 miles per hour. Okay, good. So 40 miles in half an hour. It's going to cover twice that much in the full hour. So 80 miles per hour. Again, another good example. So click pause, write it down. When you're ready to try example 3, click play again. Example 3, it's a train this time. It's covering a journey of 520 kilometers, and they give us the speed, which is 160 kilometers per hour. Find the time. Now, speed equals distance over time, and time is equal to distance over speed. So we have here time is equal to, if I can get this pen to work, there we go. So time is equal to distance over speed. Distance is 520 divided by 160. And for this one, I'm going to let you use your calculators. The zeros can cancel. When you work it out on your calculator, you should have 3.25. Oops. Hours. Now that's 0.25 of an hour, or a quarter of an hour. What's a quarter of an hour then? How many minutes is a quarter of an hour? 15 minutes. Remember, you can work that out by doing a quarter of 60 minutes, which is equal to 60 divided by 4. I tell you what, instead of writing it that way, you can write 60 over 4, much better, which is 15 minutes, which is where this comes from there. Good. Good example for you. So click pause, write it down. When you're ready to move on to question 4, click play again. Example 4. Train completes a 442 kilometer journey at an average speed of 170 kilometers per hour. Find the time taken for the journey in hours and minutes. So we can do this. 442 kilometer journey. Find the time taken. So T, you can get this pen working again. There we go. T is equal to distance over speed. Distance is 442, and we're going to divide by 170. And you can work that on your calculators for me. You should get 2.6 hours. And that's 0.6 of an hour. So if we do our workings here, got 0.6 of an hour, so 0.6 times 60. That'll give us how many minutes? I like working in fractions, so I'm going to change this to a fraction. 0.6 is 6 out of 10 times 60. Now we can cancel, zeros cancel. 6 times 6 is 36, so 36 minutes. So that's 2 hours and 36 minutes. Good. I wouldn't write this as an example. You've had one already on time, so no need for this one. We'll move on to question number 5. Question number 5. Sally walked for 3 hours. It's an average speed of 5.25 miles per hour. Find the distance walked. So, distance, speed times time. So, if I just get this down here. Distance is equal to speed times time. Speed is 5.25. time, 3 hours. Work that out on my calculator. So 5.25 times 3, 15.75. So that's 15.75 miles. Job done. And our final example, Sally walked for 2.5 hours, average speed of 2.7 meters per second. Find the distance walked in kilometers. So we want to find the distance walked in kilometers. Now, we know that distance is given by speed times time. Distance is speed times time. Our speed is 2.7, but it's meters per second. So we want to find out how far she's walked in kilometers. So, and we've got to work in hours because our time is in hours. So we can say it's 2.5 hours or 2.5 times 2.7, but this is in a second. So to find out how fast she's walking in an hour, we've got to multiply that by 60, because there's 60 seconds in a minute, and then we multiply it by 60 again because there's 60 minutes in an hour. And when we work that out, we get 24,300 meters. The solution's got to be in kilometers though, so to convert meters to kilometers, correct, divide by 1,000, so you get 24.3 kilometers. Okay, moving on. Completed that already. Your turn. We've got 4 questions here. So what I want you to do is click pause, attempt the questions, and then when you're ready, click play again. Nice surprise for you. 4 more questions. Something to look forward to. So again, click pause, attempt all 4. And then when you're ready, we'll go through the solutions then. And the solutions then. Mark your work, check your workings. Very good. Okay, so that's it for speed, distance, time. We'll move on.